we're back, and now we're going to run through some examples in Excel. The first part I want to start out with is looking at our relational and logical operators and see what we have. So I'm going to put some values in here. This is for C13, 14, and F13. I'm just going to put some values, and it doesn't matter what they are at this point. 3, 50, and minus 10. And it says I want to see if C13 is greater than 0 and C14 is greater than C13, right? So I can write this. Again, it's using the AND function. And I'm looking at is seeing if C13, which is this, is greater than 0, and that's my comma, C14 is greater than C13. Okay. And you see in this equation it shows that there's logical 3. I could do logical 3, 4, 5, 6. I can do a lot of AND statements. But I'm only going to check those two. I close it with my parenthesis and I hit enter. And it tells me it is true. So we know that 3 is greater than 0 and 50 is greater than 3. So that is true. If I made this a minus 2, you see it says false because both conditions aren't true. 1, good. What does it do when it's 0? 0, it says false because it's not greater than 0, right? So you want to check those edge ones. So if I made this equals, right, I did that, greater than or equal to 0, now it's true. Right? I'm going to put it back. Okay, let's try the next one. The next one is an OR statement. Equals, so we're saying C13 is great. Oops, I forgot the word or. Or, open parenthesis, C13 is greater than 0, comma, or is C14 greater than C13. So only with an or, only one of those conditions need to be true. So we see in this first one it's false because those conditions, are false. One of them is false, so they're both false. If they are both true, the OR is also true, right? The OR is only false if one of these is false. If I do -1 and I do 0, that's still -2. Now they're both false. Okay. This last function I just want to kind of look at and show you. It's called the mod function. The mod function, what it does is it divides a value by the second value, right? So it gives us the remainder. So if I look at this, I'm doing mod equals mod C13 divided by C14, right? So I'm taking 13 divided by 14. What does it go into? 50 goes into 1 how many times? 0 with a remainder of 50. It should be 14. Oh. So in this case, it's just giving us this value here. It's the divisor. C14 goes into the C13, and our result is 1. Okay, so what we can do is, what's nice is we can use this to determine if a value is positive or negative, even or odd, right? So if I divide by 2, it's always even if the my result is 1 or 0. Here, we'll take a look. I can explain it better using it, mod, and I'm going to do F13, this one over here, and divide it by 2. And it comes out 0, right? So I'm going to put this in as 10. So 10, meaning that 10 divided by 2 is 5 with a remainder of 0, right? So here is 9. If I do 9, 9 divided by 2 is 4 with a remainder of 0. Okay, and so on and so forth. So that will always tell me if it's odd or even. So I can use an if function if I want to determine if it's odd or even that way. So let's look at an equation. I'm going to put in some value here of 25, let's say, and write an if statement, right? It's just a basic if statement. If, and we're going to say if this cell is greater than 10, we're going to print out 18, else we're going to take that value and multiply it times 2. Okay. So here we see that it is greater than 10, so our result is 18, right? It's taking the true. If it is 5, I'm multiplying it times 2, 5 times 2, or if I say 2, you'll see that it is 4. Okay? So that's not true, it's false. It goes and takes it and multiplies it times 2. So you can do multiple things. I can say words, I can give values, I can do other functions, things like that. Let's do another one here. Let's just put 10, and here I'm going to do if, let's just fix this. If A28 is greater than 10, I'm going to say in quotes, too big, end quotes, else, okay, this is if it's false. I'm going to say okay. Too many closed parentheses in there. All right, so now it's saying okay because it's not a true statement. If I say 11, that is true. It's saying too big. If I say 5, it's saying okay. If it's 10, it's equal. It's not greater than 10. It's equal to 10, so it's saying okay. Okay. We'll come back to this last nested one in a second. Let's look at another example of an if statement. Let's just check to see if our salary is greater than $1,000. So here I've got some cell, and in this cell I'm going to type if this cell is greater than 1,000. I'm going to say yes, otherwise no. Oops, and notice I didn't have quotes. No. I need to get rid of that. Just looking for the quote and my parentheses. So you just have to be careful. And so now it's saying yes. If I say 900, it's saying no. If I say 1,000, no, because it's not greater than, right? It needs to be 1 penny over. You bet that works. So that's a simple if statement, right? Now let's look at our more complex one. Let's check to see if the water is, if it's steam, water, ice. What do you have? Steam, water, or ice, right? So I'm going to say equals, and this is my more complex one. If this cell is, let's just say, less than 0, then I have ice, right? If it's not less than 0, then I have to check again. If, notice the next parentheses, and this one comes in red. I'm going to check this value to see if it is less than 100. If it is, then I'm going to say water. Else, if I know that it's not ice and it's not water, then it has to be steam. I don't even have to do another one. You see my next parentheses I put in turned out red, right? If I do another parenthesis, it's matching it. You see it kind of flashed in there too. It flashes with the corresponding one over here. So that's my black one there, my black parentheses. So that gives me my whole if statement. Now if I hit enter, it's saying 75 is water. If I say 0, it's still saying water. If I say -1, it's ice. I can check 100, it's saying steam. If I say 101, it's steam. Right, it needs to be 99.9. It is water. Okay, so you can check all those different ones. And it's good to check the ones that are in between to make sure you're getting the result that you want. So this is the water, steam, ice type of thing with a complex, more nested if statement. Let's look at that weather one that we did, right? So I'm going to put in some cell here, weather. And here's where I'm going to enter what it's doing outside, right? And you should do what? We don't know. We should take an umbrella, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to do what it says over on my chart over here, right? We're going to say if this cell is equal to raining, we'll just say rain. If it's rain, then I'm going to say take an umbrella. And then I'm going to say test. And the reason I'm doing this is because nested if statements can be complex, and I just want to make sure that it's working, right? So right now it says test because I don't have anything in here. But if I write rain, oh, it says take an umbrella. If I write that, no, but rain makes it work. All right, so let's modify this. We're going to delete our test and put another if statement in. If, and I'm going to check that cell again, that equals snow, then I'm going to wear a coat. And if it's not a coat, then just go outside. And I put another parentheses. You see I have my red ones and my black ones. Enter. It says take an umbrella. If I type in snow, wear a coat. If I write gook, it says go outside. Well, that shouldn't mean anything. So we need to really change this, right? We need to say, oh, what happened if someone types something wrong? Rain, snow, kind of rains, snow, right? It says go outside, but what is it really? Let's edit this again. And let's add another if statement in here, right? Instead of go outside, we're going to write another if statement. So now we're really nesting it. You see we have the purple ones. So now we're going to say, if this cell is, we're going to do and, so we could only have and, we can only have rain or snow. So this needs to be if this equals, well, it could be anything at that point. Okay, so let's change this and say no, it's always going to be those two. All right, so sometimes you want to check to see if there's a data error in there is what I was trying to get at. Let's just take it another step further, and we'll say it's windy, okay? So if that equals wind, I need my parentheses, wind, right, comma. If it is wind, we will take a scarf. Else, now we'll say go outside. And you see we need another parentheses. We have the purple one matches, the red one matches, but we don't have a black one. So there's our 3. And now it's telling us. If I change this to wind, it says scarf, rain, take an umbrella, snow, wear a coat. Okay, so those are different things we can do. All right. Let's look at one more example here. This is to have a grade book, and here's a number of different students with the different exam scores in here, and I'm going to make it calculate whether I have an A or a B. So here's the overall score, and you see it says that I need my overall score. Exam 1 and 2 are 25% of the grade each, and then the final grade is 50%. So I need to write a formula for this. So if I do that, I will say equals. I'm going to take this value times 0.25 plus this one times 0.25 plus this one times 0.5. There's my 50%. So the final exam is weighted more. So you see it came out to 86.8, which makes sense. They did very well on that final, right? So I can take that equation that I just wrote and bring it down for everybody, right? This person did an 80, 73, and a 73. It weighted a little bit more, brought them up some, right? I can also write the average for this class for each exam. So here's the average for that one. And my average scores overall. All right, so there's an example of this table. But I want to be able to give an A, B, C, D, or F, right? So that gets a little more complicated, and it is going to be a nested if. I would recommend highly to use the logical operators with the diamond and plan this all out. I am not going to do that for you right now. We're just going to do this, but it does get a little tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this. So we're going to look at this value. If this value, I'm going to start out at the F range. So if that value is less than 60, right? It is less than 60, then I'm going to give an F. Else, I'm going to say test. Make sure that this is working each step of the way. So if I put in a 0 here, 0, it gives me an F. That looks good. And before it looked like it was giving me test, which is nice. Okay. So now we're going to eliminate test, and I'm going to write if. So now I'm going to check to see if it's a D. So I know if it's less than 60, it's an F. So now I need to be up to, I need to check this cell again. If that is less than 70, right? If it's less than 70, if it's equal to 70, it's a C. If it's less than 70, so it could be 69.9 or whatever, that will be a, it will be a D. And we should test that also. There I have my 2 parentheses, my red and black. Hit enter, test, right? So now if I do 50, I've got a D, right? That looks good. All right. Now we can get rid of that test, right? And we can do another one, if. Now you see we have purple parentheses. I'm going to check that same cell, see if that is less than 80. If it's less than 80, that means I have a C. All right, and then we would test that again. Notice I have 3 parentheses, the purple, red, and black. All right, let's check this out. We want to see if we can get a C. So if I get a 70, it's telling me a 70. Right, is a C. So that looks good. That seems to be working. Now we're going to get rid of the test again one more time, and I'm going to test if this cell is less than 90. I will have a B. If it is not less than 90, it means that it's greater than 90. That means it should be an A. So I don't have to do another if in here. It has to be an A. And I will need another parenthesis. So I've got a green, purple, red, and black, which match up. Here's my black, red, purple, and green. Okay? Hit enter. Let's just copy this cell down. And we see we have a variety of grades, right? And they all seem to be working well. Let's just make this 0, test out the F. The F seems to work also. Right, I could make it 50. Right? So we had A, B, C, D, F. It looks like it's working. Okay, so that's a much more complicated nested if statement. But again, I would work it step by step and test it every step, every section of the way. Right? If you have questions on any of this, please contact me in the discussion board, and I'd be happy to get back with you, or see me in class, or come to my office hours. I'd be very happy to help you with any of this. Have a great day, and we will see you soon.